All right, so now, so I've got 4y squared minus y minus 3, all right? And we got to factor this baby. Okay, so guys, so we're in 5-9 now, okay? So you remember in 5-7 and 5-8, the coefficient of our leading term was 1, okay? But what is it now in our 5-9? It's 4. It's something greater than 1 is the coefficient of our leading term. Okay, so what method do we use? Stephanie?
AC method.
AC method. All right. So, and what do we mean by AC? Okay, so this is factored by the AC method.
Multiply the A and the C together.
Okay. So multiply, so AC means multiply the A coefficient by the C coefficient. And we know that the factoring pattern is AX squared plus BX plus C. So the coefficient of the X squared term, or the leading term, is designated A, middle term designated B, constant designated C. All right? So in our case here, ladies, what is our AC? So our AC, excellent. AC equals 4 times negative 3 equals negative 12. So, what are we looking for now, ladies? The words are going to, yes, Sarah?
Are we looking for, are we gonna, like, see what adds up to 1?
To negative 1? Yes. Okay, so Allie, what are the words?
C multiplying factors of negative 12 that add up to negative 1.
Right. Perfect. Seek multiplying factors of the AC product, in this case negative 12, that add up to negative 1, middle term. Okay, so for this, ladies, I do want to see factor and sum table. Even if you're only going to put one entry in there, I want to see it right over there. So F stands for factor, S stands for sum. All right. So, ladies, it's the same idea as in 5-7, 5-8 when we have a negative AC. It's the same as when we had a negative C in the 5-7, 5-8 sections. All right? So, guys, if we're seeking factors of negative 12, what can we say about the signs? One's positive, one's negative. So we're going to use the same idea. So we're seeking factors then. We don't want to worry about signs. We're seeking factors of the number 12 that add up to positive 1. Okay? And what are those? I'm sorry. We're seeking factors of positive 12 that subtract to 1. Remember, whenever this is negative, you cover up and you're seeking factors of that number itself that subtract to this number itself. All right? So what might those two factors be? Yes, Brooke?
Negative 4 and positive 3.
Okay, so negative 4 and positive 3, so that when we combine them, negative 4 plus 3 is going to be negative 1, and we have a match of the middle term. Okay, so in our initial process, so the numbers that multiply to plus 12 that subtract to 1 would be 4 and 3, because those multiply to 12 and subtract to 1. And then so you put the 4 and the 3 down, and then you put the sign in the right place to give you the sign of the middle term. Okay, so now that we have these two factors of AC, what are we going to do with them? Caroline?
Replace them for the negative y.
Right. We use these two factors here to replace our middle term. Okay? So what we know is that negative 4 plus 3 equals negative 1. But what we also know is that negative 4y plus 3y add up to negative 1y. Okay? And that's the way we do our splits. All right? So here we've got 4y squared, and we've got negative 4y plus 3y, and then minus 3. Okay? So the outer terms stay exactly the same, and we're just converting the middle term into two separate terms, okay, that give us the same value. So this second line, do you agree, is exactly the same in its value as the first line. Good. All right. And now, what do we do, ladies?
Split.
Split. Yes. So we split it into 2 by 2. All right. So split 2 by 2. All right. And now, what do we do with these? So what we had done is we started with a trinomial, 3 terms. We split the middle term, so now we have 4 terms. And now we split it 2 by 2. And now, what is the next step? Factor. Right. And of course, according to your factoring Bible, okay, after putting things in standard order, you look for what? The GCF. All right. So, ladies, okay, what is the GCF here? 4y. All right. And now what do? Collect the residue. Yes. Boldly put your parentheses. All right. And now we have the residue. We have to find out what remains after we divide the 4y squared by the GCF 4y. And what's left over? Y. Okay. And after we divide the negative 4y by the 4y, what's left over?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. All right. Now what do?
The other side.
Check. You must check after every aspect of a factorization problem. All right. So what process do we use to check? Distribution. All right. So 4y times y is what?
4y squared.
Check. 4y times negative 1 is what?
Minus 4y.
Minus 4y. So we're all okay. All right. Now what do?
To the other side.
Bring down the side.
Bring down this sign. You notice that the second scallop, okay, includes the sign that we now bring down. All right, so that's a plus. Good. And now, what's the GCF?
3.
3. And the residue?
Y minus 1.
Y minus 1. And now what do?
Find the GCF.
Check.
Oh.
All right. Now, guys, so we have to check this factorization. But this number here includes the sign in front of it. And that's, so the plus 3 is now the quantity, okay, that has to multiply the quantity y minus 1. So in doing our checking, we have to make sure that we take the sign in front with the number itself. All right? So plus 3 times y is what?
Positive 3y.
Positive 3y. And plus 3 times negative 1 is what?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. And we check. We're in business. All right. So now, ladies, what do we see now? And what do we want to do next?
Find the GCF.
GCF of the whole thing. And what is that?
Y minus 1.
Y minus 1. All right. So, ladies, perfect. So our GCF now is y minus 1. All right. So we bring down the GCF first. Do not write down the residue first. All right. And what's my residue?
4y plus 3.
4y plus 3. All right. And now what do we do? Check. Right. Okay, so we check this. Now this is a full FOIL to check, all right? So we have, our first is y times 4y squared. We've got to check against the original here, the original trinomial. So that's 4y squared, outer, plus 3y, inner, negative 4y together, negative y. Last, minus 1 times plus 3, minus 3, and we're home free. Is that awesome, ladies? All right. Now, when you're coming down through this process, ladies, okay, these two factors here, these two residues that you've gotten from the splitting and the factoring there and pulling the GCF, these two factors must be exactly the same. And don't just assume that they're going to be the same if you've written down something different. Okay? And what happens oftentimes is that you'll get your signs mixed up over here, and you'll have in here y plus 1. Whereas over here you have y minus 1. They're different. They can't be. So you have to go back and find out why they're different before you move on. Make sense? Okay. Perfect job, ladies.